The way of present centering. Have you ever heard of the way of present centering? It's the English term for the Japanese concept of Naka-ima, which translates to middle now. It is a source of living power that I am willing to risk my life to convey, a philosophy that can fundamentally change your life. Don't be bound by the past. Don't fear the future. Fix your heart on the present. That is the way of present centering. People are preoccupied with past regrets and future anxieties. But in the meantime, they don't notice that the most precious now is quietly slipping away. Power resides only in this one moment, the present. How you place your heart in this moment will change your life significantly. Your inner strength is always in the now. I hope today's talk will be a catalyst for that realization. Please listen with all your heart, because everything begins from right here, right now. Humans are unconsciously bound by the past. Don't you still hold on to that past regret, that word, that choice? It's like a chain wrapped around your feet, weighing down every step you take in the present moment. I was the same way, a failed mission, an irreversible decision, the helplessness I felt on my sickbed. Every time I thought back, my heart grew dull, and I couldn't see the reality in front of me. But one day I realized this. The past is a fact, but it is not a reason to keep suffering. Memory should be kept in your heart as a lesson, nothing more. You no longer need to let it cloud your present self. The past cannot be changed, but you can choose how you face the past. And the one who chooses that is none other than you yourself. The night I truly decided to let go of the past was when I was sick in bed. Staring at the ceiling, memories that had settled in my heart surfaced one after another. Failure, anger, frustration, loneliness. These were all emotions that had tormented my heart. So I took a piece of paper and a pen and wrote down each of those memories. Then I quietly tore up what I had written and burned it in a fire. It was a strange sensation, like burning away the sediment from my soul. As I watched the words of the past turn to ash in the fire, I felt my heart becoming lighter, little by little. People unconsciously bind their present hearts with the past they've stored inside. But the act of bringing memories out, giving them form, and letting them go has the power to clear the mind. It's not just a temporary comfort, it's a true new beginning. I recommend you do the same. Write your memories on paper, tear them up, and let them go. That is the preparation of the heart for living in the present. The past, though it is an event that has already ended, continues to dominate a person's heart for a long time. Don't you have memories that come to mind even when you want to erase them? Failures, regrets, hurtful words. Every time you remember them, your chest tightens, and the will to live in the present is stolen away. But the power that gives them life is not the past itself. It is your heart, which still holds on to them now. I too was tormented by such memories many times. But one day I thought, if the me of today lets go of that past, it will become just a lesson. Memories can be treasures or poison. How you handle them is up to your own choice. If you put the past away in your heart as a lesson, you must not let it bind your present self. Come on, start today and take that heavy burden off your shoulders. That will be the first sure step to living with present centering. People fear a future that hasn't happened yet and let go of the present moment. You too have probably felt a stirring in your chest, thinking about your health, old age, the fate of your family, or the future of your job. At that time, our minds are swallowed up not by reality, but by our imagination. I once suffered from a serious illness, and the doctor told me, "You may not have much time left." From that day on, the fear of the future nested in my heart, and every day was filled with anxiety. But one night, I suddenly realized something. Right now, I am breathing. I can see with my eyes. My heart is beating. Isn't that the greatest proof of life? At that moment, the fog of anxiety slowly began to clear. Anxiety was not reality. It was an illusion created by my mind. It was just a baseless shadow that disappears once you notice it. I was able to be so certain that anxiety is an illusion because I had mastered the importance of breathing and posture in my daily life. One morning, I straightened my back and quietly took a deep breath without thinking about anything. Then, the anxiety that had been swirling in my chest slowly began to calm down. Most human anxiety arises when the mind is taken over by a future that hasn't happened yet. However, the act of breathing exists only in the now, this very moment. Just by bringing your consciousness back to that now, your mind begins to wake up from its illusion. Every morning, with a deep breath, I would chant in my mind, I am alive here, now. This short but powerful phrase gave my heart a deep and certain sense of calm. You don't have to try to beat anxiety. By bringing your heart back to the present, anxiety will disappear like a mist. That is the key to practicing how to escape the illusion. Your breath right now has the power to do that. Breathing is, above all, a tool to regain the feeling of living in the present. Anxiety is like a formless fog, but the human heart gives that fog more weight than reality. That's why anxiety feels like a genuine suffering. I began to view it as a habit of the mind. If you habitually direct your consciousness only to the future, it's natural to feel anxious. But if you become aware of that and can change the direction of your consciousness, the habit of your mind will change. I would vow every morning, today I will not surrender my heart to anxiety. Then the same scenery I saw yesterday began to look different. The sound of the wind, the swaying of the trees, people's expressions. I became able to feel that everything exists in this very moment. To erase anxiety, you don't fight it, you let it go. This is not a mental technique, it is a way of life itself. You too, just for today, try to spend your time with your consciousness focused on the now. That small step holds the power to change everything. When I was suffering in sickness and despair, I was a person whose heart was disturbed every day by other people's words and attitudes. Why am I the only one suffering so much? Why does that person act that way? That's how I entrusted my peace of mind to external things. One morning, when I sat quietly and regulated my breathing without thinking about anything, I suddenly realized my heart is not outside of me. My heart would sink at someone's words, anger would flare up from the news, and my mood would be swayed by the weather. But while it seemed like I was reacting to external events, it was actually a choice made by my inner self. By pushing the responsibility onto the outside, I was letting go of my own heart. Peace of mind is not given by your environment. It can only be nurtured within yourself. This realization fundamentally changed my life. Have the resolve to nurture your own heart rather than trying to change others. That is the starting point for true freedom and peace. I truly felt I had become the master of my own heart when I realized the truth that you can choose your mind. One day a passerby threw an unpleasant word at me. The old me would have undoubtedly lost my temper and become agitated. But that day was different. I realized this has nothing to do with my heart. I came to understand that whether someone's words enter my heart depends on my own permission. It finally sank in that I was the one who chose what to let into my heart. That realization changed me, deeply and quietly. It's difficult to change the outside world, but how you receive it is entrusted to your choice. This may seem like a small thing, but it is a great power that rules your life. No one's words have the power to hurt your heart. You are the one who allows it. So have the freedom to choose your reaction. That is the first step to reclaiming the power of your heart. And that one step is the beginning of changing your destiny. If you leave your mind unattended, it will easily be carried away by the winds of the outside world. That's why you need to have the habit of asking yourself every day, is this my heart? One day, I quietly closed my eyes and watched my own thoughts. I asked myself, what was I feeling all day today? It was only then that I realized that I had spent most of my time reacting to other people's words and social events. But then I remembered, our hearts have the power to choose. You can choose your emotions, attitudes, and thoughts. It's not easy, but it is certainly possible. So you should start today. Ask yourself, is this the heart I chose? That habit will free your heart from the outside winds and give you back the power to steer the course of your life. And when your heart returns to your own center, your life itself will quietly begin to change. This is not a miracle. The accumulation of daily awareness will eventually change even destiny. People often think destiny is something that is decided, an unchangeable flow. But that is a great misunderstanding. Destiny is by no means determined by an external force. It is the state of our mind that shapes it. When I was young, There was a time when I was lost and suffering in my life. Misfortunes piled up, and I believed this is my destiny. But one day I suddenly realized, wasn't it my own heart that decided this destiny? From then on, I began to focus on regulating the state of my mind rather than the events themselves. And I realized that the power to change reality was dormant within my heart. Yes, destiny can be changed. That's because your mind can be changed from this very moment. When your mind changes, the scenery of your life changes like a mirror. Even a small change in your mind will eventually begin to move your destiny. Something I actually experienced is that when you are in the midst of misfortune, your consciousness inevitably turns to the external situation. Why did this happen? Why am I the only one suffering? In that way, my heart was being swayed by the suffering of reality. However, one day I calmly quieted my mind and gazed intently into my inner self. Then deep in my heart, a small resignation was hiding, saying, "It's impossible now. Something bad is surely going to happen again." I realized that it was that resigned heart that was turning reality into something unfortunate. If your heart thinks it's impossible, that thought will become reality. But if you believe, I can manage somehow, it will surely get better. The situation will quietly change. The path will become visible, as if a fog has cleared. What shapes destiny is not external events. It is the belief within your heart. And that belief can be nurtured by your own will every day. The one holding the rudder of your life is your heart. Destiny is a mirror of the heart. That is why I want you to know how important your daily thoughts and emotions are. Casually spoken words, a slight attitude, each of these becomes a seed that shapes your destiny. I was once disappointed with my unchanging daily life, and my heart was clouded. But one day I suddenly thought, isn't this daily life also the result that my heart has created? From then on, I started to re-examine my daily mindset. Today, I will be calm. I will not forget to say thank you. That small accumulation of awareness eventually brought about a great change. Your heart today determines your destiny tomorrow. So first, be honest with your own heart. By having hope in your heart and not forgetting your sincerity, destiny will quietly but surely begin to change. And that change will one day become a force that shakes your own life. Everything begins from the state of your mind. That is the true power to create destiny. You have probably thought, if only the past had been different, or I have to work hard so the future will be better. But both the past and the future are nothing but formless illusions. The only thing that truly exists is the one moment of now. When I was sick in bed, I was swallowed by the anxiety of the future and crushed by the regrets of the past. At that time, my heart was empty and any effort felt hollow. No matter what I did, I couldn't muster any strength. But one day I encountered the teaching of present centering. It was the teaching, live with your whole heart in this very moment. Those words resonated in my chest, and I awakened deeply. The past exists to be learned from, and the future exists to be prepared for. However, the power to live, the power to change your life, exists only in this very moment. When I realized this truth, I was able to stand up again. The answer to life is always in the now. Living with present centering doesn't just mean enjoying the present. It is a profound and solemn attitude of living by concentrating your whole heart on this one point of now. Once I happened to notice a small flower by the roadside. Normally, I would pass by without a second thought, but that day my heart was in the present. Then, strangely, tears fell at the beauty of the flower. We don't wholeheartedly taste the things in front of us. Even when we are eating or talking, our hearts are wandering in the future or the past. But when your heart is rooted in the present moment, the world looks different. The smell of the air, the gentleness of the wind, even people's words feel new. To live in the now is to live honestly in the moment in front of you. It is to live with power and gratitude in every breath, in every instant. When that accumulates, life itself begins to shine. That is the power of present centering, and it is always within your grasp. Living with present centering does not require any special talent or conditions. It is a way of life that anyone can start from this very moment. I have always asked people, are you living today with your whole heart? And many people look away slightly. To that extent, we have forgotten to live in the now. But if you just bring your heart back to the present, you will immediately notice the difference. Just one deep breath, just one word of gratitude. That alone will start to quietly regulate your heart. To live with present centering is to return to yourself, and it is to believe in yourself and take a step forward. It's okay to be afraid of failure. It doesn't matter if you have anxiety. Even so, by mustering the courage to take one step, you will begin to change your life. If you live this moment with care, even your destiny will quietly change. Now believe in the power of present centering, and from here, from now, carve out your own destiny with your own hands. How was it? I would be happy if this powerful message resonated even a little in your heart. If today's talk provided a new realization or encouragement to your life, please consider hitting the like button. And if you'd like to continue exploring the power of living in the now, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching today.